As I walked past the city's castle, he interrupted his return and climbed the stone ramp that led to the top of the wall. From there, he could see Africa in the distance. Someone had once told him that it was there the Moors had come to occupy all of Spain.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy. 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 Crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy.
What you looking up for, God? I'm talking to you. Weed smelling like dead bodies, loving a shoot. Baby goats popping out government checks. To the honorable moms, no disrespect. I'm not talking about the matriarch, but what the deadbeat dad, fake comrade, two-faced nigga. Stab you in your back multiple times. Homicides and manslaughter. A friendship on the rise. Watch the gods with pseudo doctrines, fake shades. I stay back and listen to old school stay sane. Around the gardens, always have a bag of crystals in demon spaces. Amethyst missiles. 30 more teach the factors will be official. When study is beneficial.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy. Crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy. Crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy. Crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy.
Enslaved by your own, didn't listen to prophet. Now you're living in sin, want to but can't stop it. You made your bed, lay down, now you see standing. Notwithstanding in a dead status, birthright abandoned. Rather stay dirty instead of turning your card in. Then take your feds off if you're not turning your card in.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy.
We rhyme making no sense to make dollars and holler. On our grounds, rounds leave Moors dead and parlors. So-called blacks call them cracker, then get called Canadian and shun Moors that say they're not Canadian. This world is full of crazy men with no knowledge of self, but got the most expensive cars and flat screens on the wall shelf. Going on our way to try to help you change where you won't. And I hardly hear your opinion of Marcus Garvey, but Steve Harvey stands out true, cool, and just making a fool of you and himself for wealth. To me, those sellouts need to get bodied or exiled to Dr. Moreau's island with Gentiles and reptiles. Fake slave ships stacking bodies and piles, giving fake Jews slave respect, not giving me smiles, calling children kids, chasing after Taji guys, supremacy, use albino and half-breed spies. We catch trespassers with razors and mesh, pedophile torture, scotch bonded in open flesh. Traders get the shitty end of the stick. Our leaders, murderers, should have been crushed with pyramid bricks. Huey Newton and Hampton killers should be in front of a squad shooting by any means necessary. Get out the beast belly. Why y'all get mad gory and your flow's mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you into F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or Lori. Making me comments mad derogatory. Why y'all get mad gory and your flow's mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you into F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or Lori. Making me comments mad derogatory. It's all about balance, my eye the beam. Sellouts made it mainstream. Underground is almost unseen. Gay A&R signed the rappers' contracts in blood. Took his soul. Died the day before with a thud. He's a zombie, dyed hair, dressed wearing thug. Burn that garbage, too much to sweep under the rug. Police can't collar a crime without snitches. You're lucky to escape the custody, not dead with just stitches. Make you hit your hair, take Hindus to Ganesha, possess you, and raising your blood pressure. Anything to do with Moors, they don't want you near. Don't search where it's black, you won't find it there. No matter how much you beg, they won't tell you where. No matter how much you don't have, they won't tell you here. Negroes weren't the first slaves, no reparations first. While you wait for your reparations, it looks like a hearse. They won't pay you reparations anyway. Only if you agree to make yourself black and gay. Instead of towards Moors, they want you to stray. Won't find your mind when it's in disarray. Thinking being European is the only way. Hurling insults at your creator. She will get you later. Why I get mad glory and your flows mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you into F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pattern glory. Making me up comments mad derogatory. Why I get mad glory and your flows mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you into F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pattern glory. Making me up comments mad derogatory. What's the reason for the treason is the question and the lesson. I hear most professing, but really possessing. Taking minds messing with thought patterns and pathways Nero. Wanna be a hero when they really cipher, not Neo, not Morpheus or Gillen finding Nemo. Selling out with no remorse, you and yours. Call you black, showing you who's the boss. Always marching, but never thought sue the police force or do like Haitians. Add some voodoo, of course. You might hurt them unexpected. It could be bloody. Feel yourselves curl and your hair stand from walking duppies. Looked, all of a sudden, judge yelled and wept. In court, judge with cold sweats and throat strap. You can't talk yet, cause the candle was lit before I left. Forget Africa. Hip hop was the grand theft. Why I get mad glory and your flows mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you into F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pattern glory. Making me up comments mad derogatory. Why I get mad glory and your flows mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you in F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pattern glory. Making me up comments mad derogatory. Yeah. Ignorance is contagious. Yo, lift your head up, man. We walked into something. The scene, feathers and turbans, 1913, Moorish Jewish temples in Harlem before conscious stardom. You and I ate parade, Garvey dressed Moorish as ever, admirals or amirs, catch them in the whirlwind forever. Before Allah, temple of Islam, Gaza lurks nations, knowledge of nationality, feed us from plantations, allegations, alterations, transfer ownership, proclamations. Feathers don't mean Morse cars, Congolese amputations, playing on emotions of the people asleep mentally. Still asleep, Drew Ali came over a century ago. Although you weren't told, seek and find. Knowledge is water for thought seeds in the mind, soil conscience. If constant will exercise demons that haunted your vessel, attempted to get between your temples, go from a rotten man to a devil, delving to lower levels and actually love it. Lower self junkies acting like troglodyte monkeys like puppets. Renaissance is unrelated to blacks, check the facts. The Moors are who kept ancestral knowledge intact, expressed in videos, books and raps. What you call a two twins, I had to call a liberty cap. Freedom is everyone's job, but most abandon their posts. Now their children are diagnosed with multiple distinctive hosts. Plus they given the order to administer dose. Looking for salvation from out and not innermost. As souls crunch like cinnamon toast. The devil's still happy and stay happy. The message to you ignorant folks. Written on the pages is the ageless, wisdom of the sages. Ignorance is contagious. Written on the pages is the ageless, wisdom of the sages. Ignorance is contagious. Written on the pages is the ageless, wisdom of the sages. Ignorance is contagious. Ignorance is contagious. Ignorance is contagious. When I listened to Fred Hampton, he wasn't like modern black men, white power for white people. Did he mean the Klansmen? Brown power for brown people. Did he mean the Brahmin? And I guess all the yellow powers for the Chinamen. I get it. Do you? I think not. Brahmins don't call themselves brown, and I don't see yellow anything when I'm in Chinatown. Feathers up quenching British thirst, honor our prophets that gave prophecies to the likes of Nostradamus. The Nostradamus debut number 7 on Billboard. Put his finger on the cover, told us we're still Moors. Dougie Fresh, his brother, and Pop knew they're not niggas. Even through Quan the Bay, you know from grave diggers. You made the same mistake the politicians have. Reaping what you sow, talking all that jazz, and still talking. All I see is zombies walking with their eyes low, with their minds in the screen like Max Headroom show. While you worry about FEMA, I keep my enemies closer. And one eye on dirty more than the conscious poser. One hand around the straw man's neck and lower self in a headlock. Vixen stab shot in her crotch, so couldn't just get headshots. Bells and jack-o'-lanterns lead them astray because some told me yes about kill cracker, never shoved one. Zombies taking the form of your deceased loved ones, leading me through end of tunnel lights into torture dungeons, using honey traps against vigilance of some instruments. Propaganda say being more is tied to religiousness, not when we are indigenous and bound to the continent. F-away with your flattering manipulative compliments. I have my ancestral confidence from their accomplishments, ancestral confidence from their accomplishments. Return to my foreparents' mindset. Keeps me competent, not incompetent. Happy Holy Day, Moors. Islam. We're here, just doing a little pop-up. People talking crazy. So you already know how it goes. But Yusuf, what's good, Moor?
Islam, Green Sheet.
Yo.
Some all the Moors in the chat.
I know we were supposed
Happy Holy Day.
Islam. I know we were supposed to do it, but if you wanna give a quick recap on your thoughts of the domes, arches, and minarets.
A quick recap on the what?
On the Phil Pasquini, the domes, arches, and minarets.
Oh, the interview we did with the Oh, just a little recap.
Yeah,
because that whole thing was crazy.
Yeah, he went off.
That I still want to give thanks for him coming on the platform.
Oh yeah, big time.
Sharing that information. Because that was pretty big. That was big right there. Because just the evidence that he shows in his books. Just even the literal Moorish castle that was built by Moors that they have in I think it was South in Texas.
Mm.
In South of Texas, he literally found a Moorish castle that was built in 1744 by Moors. Like he talks about that. That was even though once we start doing a little bit deeper research and a lot, because I'm pretty sure he would even notice that, okay, a lot of these stories I'm reading and architectural findings that I'm reading about with these guys, it's not adding up. Because I'm pretty sure he would know a lot of those Moorish castles been here. Like they can say that, a European or whatever made it now in the 1850s, but we know that stuff been here longer than that.
Right.
We know that for a fact. Like, because at this time, the knowledge isn't adding up. Like when you start reading how Europeans didn't have running in Europe, Germany, or whatnot, they didn't start having running water until like 1940.
Mm-hmm.
They were still peeing in buckets outside and in bowls in the 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Yeah.
You start wondering, like, well, how the hell was y'all building Moorish architecture in 1850?
Yeah. It obviously wasn't. Yeah, it obviously wasn't them. It obviously wasn't them.
So and he's a researcher, 39 years. You know what I mean, doing pictures of Moorish architecture. I'm pretty sure he noticed that too, because me as Yusuf, I'm not that. I can just click on the internet, do some research, and I'll find it out. For somebody who's out in the field for 39 years, I'm pretty sure he knew that. I'm pretty sure. So, but a lot of people, you can't do it, you can't say it all. That's where the Moors come in to place. We say it all. We're the art and cult with civilization. We're going to give up all the secrets. We know that this is Morocco.
Exactly.
And then with there's a lot of things, man. I'm glad you asked that question, because to me, now that he showed all that Moorish architecture here, I'm questioning stuff like, okay, what determines a place? Like, how do we know? Like, what's United States architecture? I would like to know that. How do we determine this is the United States? How does that, because it's on paper? Like, when I go outside, I see Moorish castles. You know, like, I see that on the ground, built. Like, I don't see whatever so-called United States architecture would be. Like, it started making me think even more. Like, okay, what makes a so-called, what makes a country? Like, what makes it? Is it the architecture? How did that happen? How does that look at? Because when we here in Morocco, North America here, we see tons of Moorish architecture all over. You know what I mean? Like, we can prove and go outside and show you, like, oh, this is Moorish architecture. How can they go outside as so-called United Statesian and show me, oh, this is United Statesian architecture? How does that work? Like, what is that? What mean?
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Like, because the whole world is Morocco. Because our art and culture and our architecture, everything that we built, the way people's, you know, living life, eating, to everything, you know, using forks, knives, 3-course meal, all of that. That's all Moorish culture. That's all Moorish culture. That's why it amazed me. Like, he's opening it up more to me to show me, like, yo, it really is, the whole world is Morocco. Like, literally, once you really look at it, it's like, yo, the whole world is Morocco. The whole world is.
Yeah, but the only people that are.
And that's what you read in the books. When you start reading history, you see it. You know, and when you, even the Norman Jid, he goes in on that. Like, if you're on the side of the Romans, you're not a Moor. If you're with the 5 principles, you was considered a Moor back then. You know what I mean? Like, even when the so-called Roman general, who was a Moor, when he was sent out there by the Romans to go kill these pagan Christians, he was about to go kill them. When he got there and they was praying, doing some, but then when he looked at them, those was Europeans. He was supposed to wipe them all out, but he didn't. He didn't.
Nothing to argue.
He went aside with the Romans. That's why I'm glad he did it. You know, glad he did it. Even though he's, you know, can break down for hundreds, you know, telling us, you know, your brothers from the East are gonna come help you.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And then when his example of, you know what they say, if you in the boat together, we gotta row. And I was like, yeah, that's it. we in the boat together. Let's go. Let's go. That's it. That's right.
As the Romans do. Stand on your square.
Right.
Stand on your damn square. Now, I just wanted to put this one out there for certain people talking crazy. Was built in 1904, same year, by merchant Joseph Leon Agostoni, featuring a Moorish. The building has housed the British Council Cultural Center, the Trinidad and Tobago Central Library, and governmental offices. So, root word, you know, the Whitehall in Trinidad, one of the magnificent 7 castles in the island that you say is island. There's no, all of them are lined up, so you could go visit all of them at once. All of them are lined up, so you can go visit all of them at once. And we'll just put that one out there, Whitehall. That's made in Moorish Mediterranean style architecture. Since you say that there's nothing Moorish in Trinidad and Tobago because that's an island and all that stuff. And or you could just go Google, look it up. It'll come up, right? And you could also go look up Stollmeyer's Castle. Stollmeyer's Castle is obviously a castle when you see it. Obviously, it's a castle. Stollmeyers.
That was located on the islands too?
Yeah. That's one of the magnificent 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
7, no.
7.
It couldn't have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
It had to be 7.
No, of course, there had to be 7. You know, I mean, there's actually 8, which is interesting. There's actually 8 of them, but 7 get all the props.
It's crazy how that works.
Yeah.
That's crazy how that works.
Oh yeah, and also too, they were saying that that we're from Europe. What were you telling me about the Europe again? Let's put that out there too, since people want to play dumb.
With the letter ship, the ship change, the letter ship change.
Yeah. Okay.
Now people do their research on this. Europe is not even the real name of the place. That's why it's Morop. It wasn't even Empress Europa who was her name's not even Europa. Her name was Empress Morop. They took the M off of the front of Europe. It's really Morop. So such thing as Europe, it's Morop. And you look up Empress Morop, who was a Canaanite, and it all pop up.
Oh.
Like all of that's called, it's the same thing. It's no such thing as Europe.
Oh. Interesting.
That's
Interesting. So now that you said that, now they're moving from we're not European now. Now we're Nubian. Now they're switching now because they got checkmated on Europe. That's why I tell a lot of you people, you guys' mom should have swallowed you guys. All you guys. Your mom should have swallowed you, or your mom should have took it in the bum.
Yep.
For you. That's where you should be. You should be in the ass crack. Because you're a waste. You're a waste. You came out the womb retarded. You came out the womb retarded. Waste of sperm. You didn't even spark anything.
They can throw them babies in the pit. And babies that the ancestors would look at that baby like, yo, that baby is not going to be the one to help with us. They put that baby right in the pit.
Those the babies they should have threw out with the bathwater.
Yep.
They should have been thrown out with the bathwater. Right? Those are the ones. These same ones right here, always up in our chat, talking crazy. They'll never go on when the highwaymen go live, they'll never be on their chat talking crazy. Never. Never. They'll never go on Pope stuff live, talk crazy. They'll never go on, what's the dude's name? Rogan. They'll never go on Rogan's live and talk crazy. They'll never go on any of these Europeans that's out here talking madness. They'll never go on their live and talk crazy. As soon as Moors go live, here they come. Here they come. Talking crazy to Moors.
Yep.
Who've been here. Right? Now I can say at least 10 years I've been doing this. 8 out of those 10 years, 80% of these people talking crazy about Moors, I never heard of before.
Never.
Just 2 years ago, I started hearing about these people. Where they been? Where were they at? Where was Root Word 10 years ago? Where was he at? Where were all these people at? All these people who, when you mention their name, they're going to snitch on YouTube to you and all that stuff. Where were these people 10 years ago? When we first came into this, how come we only knew the master teachers and those were the only ones that were teaching anything, and there was nobody? There was not one individual talking crazy about any of the master teachers and Moorish science and Moorish history and law, and none of them. Zero. None of them were around 10 years ago. 2008, 2009. None of these people were around. All of a sudden they're around now. What? Because they could go live? FOH. Yeah. FOH. Because we know who you people are. We know that you people been sent. We know you've been sent. It's a fact. We know people sent you. Only way that you're out here with 80 million views and 55,000 million subscribers, and one day you put up a video and you have 80,000 views. One day 80,000 views, and you tell me you're not buying stuff? The hell out of here. The hell out of here.
Every Friday, waiting on his check.
Every Friday waiting on their check. And we don't play, we don't respect person or station. Who cares how many people I taught? Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter how many people I taught. I know people wake up to whether it's the music that we put out, whether it's classes that we do, whether it's books that we wrote. So let's see, the classes, music, books. What have you put out? You show me something that you put out. Easy to talk. What have the Moors built? Show me a book you wrote. Forget what the Moors built. We just showed you a goddamn whole book of damn castles that Moors built. Look, Moors built lots of stuff.
Built the whole world.
Lots. All this stuff Moors built. All this. And even if Moors didn't have their hand in it, the fact that they're calling it Moorish, Moors built it. FOH. We're claiming it all as our stuff. What have you people done? Nothing. But just come over on our chat talking crazy. Done nothing? Haven't wrote a book? Haven't nothing? Zero?
Nothing.
Zero. Oh no. We feed snakes, elephants around here. You got pythons? Don't worry. Eat this elephant, python. Let's see how long you live. Don't get it twisted. Don't even get it messed up. Because we already know that we're just here to uplift fallen humanity. If fallen humanity wants to rise, they'll hear what Moors are saying. If not, hey, the BS continues. Just like we're going to look back 100 years around Noble Drew Ali's time and know there were dirty Moors then telling people BS.
Yep.
They're no different. They already told you history repeats itself. Why are you confused? Why are you lost? Like you don't know. History repeats itself. How is there confusion? Why is there confusion? Because there's some dirty bastard who doesn't want to tell the truth. And then some other dirty bastards who are going to sit there and look at the guy not telling the truth and do nothing about that guy not telling the truth. They're going to let him keep lying to people and do nothing. What do you think happened in Noble Drew Ali Pass? Emily Ill was there by himself. All these dirty Moors around him. And he called out everybody. Wrote letters telling these Moors, yeah, we went to court yesterday. These Moors lost to us and all that stuff. People still playing around with those Moors? People still claiming that they got some authority? Noble Drew Ali told these Moors, don't mark your fez. More come around with a mark fez and people still chasing after those Moors like they're somebody?
Nothing.
And you want to say,
They made pictures up.
please. We're not the ones, huh? Like we told you. 10 years ago, Moors who were dirty, they were mad at us when we made sisters wear fezzes out here. Sisters weren't wearing fezzes like that. Why? Because we're riding with RV Bay Publications where Rashi wore her fez back in the day. There wasn't even no playing around not wear fez. Queen Valara, she wore her fez. You think these Moors weren't pissed that mother was taking back her stuff? These Moors were pissed.
This was in 96, 95, 96.
Moors were pissed. Pissed. So pissed. Now what? Still pissed. Haven't done anything for their self. Haven't done anything for the nation. Haven't done anything to change the vibration what's out here. Just be clowns and trolls and everything else that they're claiming other people are. Again, like we said, the cloth we're cut from, there ain't too many people cut from that cloth anymore unless they're studying from the master teachers who were the master teachers from the 90s to the 2000s. Anybody after that, you chasing after them, you're not cut from our cloth. No way. You are definitely not cut from our cloth. Because there's very few people that Moors could say, oh yeah, master teacher. Very few. Because half these people with turbans and fezzes on sold you out. And the other half took their turban and fez off, and they're playing their Moors in the background, but in the open, they're not Moors. They're not playing nothing to do with Moors. They're black and all that stuff. They're indigenous. Right? And like Brother Yusuf just said, it doesn't matter where it's Australia come from, whether it's Europe, whether it's Scotland, Britain, United Kingdom, middle of the ocean, we're Moors. It doesn't even matter where we come from. You look like me? You got melanin? Oh, you're a Moor. Nobody told you? Trust that you're a Moor. Trust that. You're a Nubian? You're a Moor. You're Phoenician? You're a Moor. You're Egyptian? You're a Moor. Any of those North African countries, Central Africa, South Africa, East Africa, you Sudanese? Or you're a Moor. Ask Dus Muhammad Ali. He's Sudanese. He had a fez on. Mm-hmm. What do you mean? Dus Muhammad Ali was from the Sudan. No, nobody's not debating him, because the only picture you're going to find of him is with his fez on. You're going to say he's not a Moor? Oh, he's not a Moor, but the guys in the Congo with the rubber video who wear fezes, those are Moors. But Dus Muhammad Ali, who's Ali, which is a Moorish title, he's not a Moor though. He's Sudanese, right? F-O-H. F-O-H. All you clowns. All of you.
And the painting. The chief painting.
Oh, yeah.
Of the Moor.
The chief. The chief. The Moorish chief. But then you have all these chiefs telling you that they're Los Indios. How are they Los Indios? But then the painting that's worth 80 grand, that's a Moor. Moorish right. Chief.
Why don't they go to the museum in Philly and argue with them? Why they don't go to the museum in Philly and argue about the portrait of the Moorish tree?
Well, they'll never do that. They'll never go against their God. Never. They'll never go debate their God. Come on here, talk crazy about Moors.
Marching and picketing in front of the museum, talking about we're not Moors. They won't even on the painting on YouTube. You don't see no Indians arguing with the European who's painting the picture of the Moorish chief. There's nobody in the chat arguing with him or nothing. Just,
nothing in the comments. Picture. Nothing in the comments. Nothing.
Nothing. But you go on the Moorish channel, these so-called Los Indios all in there, going crazy. Won't say nothing to the colonizer. Nothing. That's the people who stole their land, murdered and raped their people, and all of that. That's what they write in the history books, but they don't say a word to these Europeans.
Not a word.
A word.
Not a word.
They want to lie and say the Moors were the biggest slave traders. How? The Europeans telling you that they did it to y'all. They telling you we're the ones that did it, and then the Moors did it. Oh, okay, the Moors did it. All right, that's how the European looking. Oh, okay, the Moors did it. Like the Europeans straight telling you, we came, pillaged, took your land, put fake treaties and all of that, and they arguing with Moors saying your treaty says Barbary on it. Where's the Moorish treaty, brother? Worry about all those lying treaties y'all got.
Yep.
Worry about how y'all gonna get those treaties to work. Don't worry about Moorish treaties.
Yeah, don't worry about a treaty that's been in power and still upheld still today. Don't worry about that.
No sin deals.
Right.
And that's again the guy who we had on interviewing him with the minarets, domes, and Moorish arches. We asked him about these so-called Indians, if he found any Indian architecture. He laughed at you guys.
Yep.
Before he answered, he laughed at you.
Why is he laughing?
It then said, quote unquote Indians. That's what he said. He laughed and then said, quote unquote Indians, and then answered the question. I said, yo, this is amazing. He laughed at it. Because the question was colored. He knew it.
Yep.
But we just want to We want you to explain on it. You're 39 years of photography.
You know, we don't want to you know, interrupt and all that stuff because, you know.
We don't want to. Oh, that's the Moore's opinion. I don't know. This guy has done 39 years of photography, of architecture throughout North America, and he ain't showing me no teepees. And then said there was no 39 years. Where were you guys at 39 years ago?
Yeah, for real. They're probably about to get swallowed by their mom. That's where they were. That's where they were 39 years ago. About to get swallowed. You're about to get swallowed.
Killing themselves.
Spanish Inquisition. Henry Kamen. Page 109. The Christian advance took Saragossa in 1887, Cordoba in 1236, Valencia in 1238, and Seville in 1248. Finally, after a long interval, Granada fell in 1492. Remember, that wasn't because some Europeans, that was because your own sold out, gave the keys up, made his mom spit in his face because he was a sellout. The end of Moorish power meant that the Moors ceased to exist as a nation. Not that they didn't exist as an empire. They stopped to exist as a nation. Because everybody knows that the Moors had an empire. And a nation is part of empire. If the Moors stopped existing as a nation, that doesn't mean that the empire is gone somewhere. Empire is still around. And became no more than a minority within a Christian country. This lesser status, however, they never accepted. Same thing today. We're not accepting that we're from the islands and that we're Nubians and that we're Europeans. We're not accepting that. We're Moorish American. We're Aboriginal and indigenous to the Americas. We're not hearing anything that you people are saying. Why? Because we know that you're Inquisition. Anybody trying to tell Moors about they're not Moors is definitely part of the Inquisition against the Moors. In 2019, 2020, Inquisition's still going on. It's just that it's not body, it's all mind now, because everything is mental. It's all mental.
Yep. That reminds me, Cortez came over with like, I think it was less than 500 troops. He didn't even have nobody when he came here. But when he got here, the sellout dirty Moors who sided with Cortez, he ended up having an army of like 7,000 and 8,000 because of all the sellout Moors who sided with Cortez and not Moctezuma, their Moorish king. That's how Moctezuma lost. He didn't lose to no Cortez. He was to the 6,000 troops of Moors that Cortez had got that sided with him. And these are the same dirty Moors right now today.
Same ones today. Same ones today. Claiming that they're everything except Moors. Right? And then to the Moors who are under threat, duress, and coercion. In Lee's words, they were Christians as regards duties and responsibilities, but they remain Moors in respect to liabilities and inequality before the law. It was not the Inquisition that was to blame for this. The fault lay with the nobility of Valencia. When, for example, in 1561, the Inquisitor Miranda named members of the rich Morisco family of Abiner as familiars of the Inquisition. The Duke of Segorbe, their overlord, ordered them to give up the appointment since his protection was sufficient for them. It was in the nobles' interest to keep their Morisco servants strictly subordinated. and to prevent them enjoying the social privileges which wealth might win for them. As a result, the Moriscos were subjected to heavy feudal taxation, which they would not have had to pay had their official status as Christians been respected. Right? Moors didn't sell out willingly. Moors didn't sell out because they wanted to. Moors today, they sell out because they want to.
Oh, yeah.
Moors back then were trying to save their families. That's why they sold out. Moors today, they don't even care about their family. Nope. You hear them? They be on live. Moors be on live. Unconscious Moors, Los Indios, whoever. They'll be on live. You hear their baby in the back crying. They're telling their baby shut up and stuff like that. Not now and all that stuff. You be hearing them. You be seeing these Moors that are unconscious, these Los Indios feathers in their bandana Moors, doing class, and their dad walking. Want to know how come they're yelling and stuff like that? Oh, don't worry, I'm just on YouTube. I'm just live on YouTube, Dad. They still live in their mom's house and stuff like that. They still live in their mom's house, talking crazy about what have the Moors built? What have the Moors built? How come you still have your mom's house? That's the question.
Right.
And we know that and we know if you're going 8 hours or whatever, we know you have no job, so you're not even contributing to the household. You're just a couch bum. You're not even contributing. You're just a couch bum. Got nerve to talk about
gossiping about Moors. Yeah, he's still here.
Right? Mom's gossiping about you, and you're worried about Moors. When your mom's talking to her friends, talking shit about you. He not about nothing. He just got these feathers on and all this stuff.
Yep. All this glitter around in my house. Glue. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing. Your mom's just clowning you.
Right? Don't do the dishes. Yeah, not like the boy said, literal house nigger. So one of the guys made a video talking about the origin of the Moors or whatever, and he was using this book. We just want to let you know what this book is about, that he was using as a reference point in order to justify people saying that we're Moors, that's persuasive language. Right now, this is the book that he used as a reference point. Persuasion, Social Influence, and Compliance Gaining. Persuasion, Social Influence, and Compliance Gaining. In this 6th edition, Persuasion, Social Influence, and Compliance Gaining continues to boast an acceptable voice and vibrant aesthetic that appeals to undergraduate students of communication, psychology, advertising, and marketing. Now, when somebody's using a school textbook as a reference point in order to prove their claims, but they're not talking to people who are in school, that's propaganda. There's no way that you're going to take a history book from the school catalog in order to justify your position. Because everybody knows that all schools have libraries, and every school book is in the library. But the books limited to the classroom don't supersede the library books.
Nope, those are agendas.
The books limited to the classroom are the books that are for a particular agenda. That's not the broad scope of the subject matter of persuasion. The class book, that's what you use it?
That comes from the Carnegie Institution.
Please. And these are people who are the scholars with 85,000 subscribers and 50 million views on every video and all that stuff. But they're using the propaganda books in order to prove their claims. No different than people use SPLC to prove their claims. No different than people use New York Times to prove their claims that we just told you in the video we just uploaded that Noam Chomsky came out and told you that New York Times is all about propaganda. Why would these people who are scholars be using New York Times as a reference point if that's a propaganda magazine? Why would you be using Oprah as a pinnacle of excellence when she comes from Hearst Corporation? Hearst Corporation made her. Why would you be giving her honors when she played Orpah in life? Because Oprah comes from Orpah, and Orpah was the sellout who didn't go with Ruth and Naomi and all that stuff. Orpah doesn't even have a book of the Bible. Ruth does, though. Don't let these people play you out of your stuff. We keep telling you. Don't allow them to play you out of your stuff.
Carnegie Institute. That bugs me out.
Right? Don't let them play you out of your stuff because you want to be incompetent. Don't be incompetent with these people. Let them be incompetent on their own. Right? You see how easy? You told him about his mom and he's out of here. No more talking. No more talking BS in the chat because he knows he should have been swallowed. That was a personal. He knows he probably got, he probably gets those same talks. Why are you still here? Why ain't you move out yet? And all that stuff. He probably gets all those talks from his mom. Personal.
Some halfway house.
Right?
Probably adopted. That ain't even his real parents.
That's not even his real parents. Went through 50 different homes and all that stuff. And then you're on YouTube talking crazy. When your stuff's not even together? How's your stuff not even together? You're talking crazy. Right? So one of the things that I know you wanted to bring up with regard to the origin of the term more is the different meanings that you have for more based on the multiple dictionaries that you like to reference.
Right. Okay. Like, for instance, one of them, I can grab the dictionary right here, coming from the Webster's New International Dictionary with reference history, India, it says India paper edition. The definition of more, because they make it seem that this more doesn't have anything to do with here in North America or America. They make it seem that it has nothing to do with here. So, learn more. Okay.
Now, again, we know that blackamoor means any dark-skinned person, especially an African Negro. We know that Negro is a term limited to over here. Negroes weren't anywhere else but in the Americas. Negroid was used Europe or whatever. Negro is limited to over here. So if any dark-skinned person is a Moor, but especially an African Negro is a Moor. African Negro implies a slave, guy who was on the plantation with a slave master, Django and Roots and all that BS. Especially those guys are Moors. More than anybody else. They're Moors. Why would they be Moors more than anybody else, anywhere else? Why? All you have to do is use your common sense. But as we know, sense is not too common because everybody's talking dollars, and that's not even dollars they got. That's how dumb people are. You're better off with sense right now instead of dollars because they're playing you if you think you got dollars right now. At least sense, you could sort of find your way out. At least sense, you could find your way out. But sense only comes from if you're studying. And if you don't study, then you're pretty much done for. You might as well throw in the towel, put the barrel in your mouth, pull the trigger, because it's over. There's a lot more.
There's a lot more. I was in the wrong dictionary. Webster's third New International Dictionary and 7 Language Dictionary, unabridged. Page 1467, the word more. Okay. More now, usually capitalized.
No, usually capitalized.
Middle English.
Why is that?
Usually capitalized.
Why is it usually capitalized? Why?
Right. Right in the dictionary. Right in the dictionary, telling you. Proper noun. Usually capitalized. Middle English, more. French, Middle French, Latin, moras. It says of Berber origin. In the brackets, in the etymology of the word more in the brackets, it says it's of Berber origin.
Oh,
and like we say, when you go on Google and you type in Berber and Google translation in Arabic, more comes up. So the word more in the dictionary is really Moorish in origin, right in the dictionary. It's not. It doesn't say Greek. It doesn't even say Greek. It doesn't even say it in here. The word Greek is not even in the definition. So when they be like, "Oh, that's Greek," not the dictionary I got.
And again, like the master teacher, the master etymologist teaches us that anybody saying more means black and all that stuff, that's where they got that from, the Greeks. Mm-hmm. Because more doesn't mean black. Like only Greeks say that more means black. So as soon as they say that more means black, know that that's European psychology. Those people are working with the Inquisition, knowingly or unknowingly. They're Inquisition, because more does not mean black. Go ahead, more.
It says archaic, right? So the word's archaic. Then it has that, blackamoor next to it. It says one of a group of people of mixed Indian, white, and Negro ancestry in central Delaware. That's not over there. That's here. Why they be talking about Moors over there when in the dictionary they talking about Moors over here? And then it says compare Manicoke Indians. That's all here.
All that is over here. How come they're not telling me?
Right in the dictionary. Right. Of Berber origin.
Read that again while I hold this book up. Read that again. Of
archaic. More is archaic. Blackamoor It says one of a group of people of mixed Indian, white, and Negro ancestry in central Delaware. It says, and to compare the Nanacoke Indians. And then it says number 4 is a goldfish. Like, so even a goldfish is called a Moor.
Yep. Was it you that uploaded the snake? The snake called a Moor too?
Oh yeah, you can go on my channel. There's a Moorish cobra or something like that, a Moorish rattlesnake. They said it right. The guy said it. It's not. Oh, he just put that in the title. No, he called it a Moorish snake. I was like, wow, he just really said that. A Moorish snake. And people see, and I said it before, but we really need to look into the definition of Moroccan. Like, Moroccan don't mean over there. Like, when they talk, it don't mean that. In the dictionary, Moroccan means sultan. And in Arabic, sultan in Arabic means one who in power. That can be anybody. Anybody can be a sultan.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's a Moor, who's getting called a Moroccan, you are the one with power. That's what it meant. That's what it meant. A Moroccan means you're the one with the power. In the dictionary, we're descendants of Moroccans born in America. We're descendants of those with power. In the dictionary, this ain't Brother Yusuf be saying some crazy stuff. No. The dictionary be saying this stuff. And I'd be amazed. I said a Moroccan is a sultan. And then in Arabic, a sultan is one who has power.
Now let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question that came from the video. Are the people of color that reside in America descendants of the people once described as Moors?
Who asked that question?
Buddy. Buddy who snitches on people when they mention his name.
Okay.
Are the people of color that reside in America descendants of the people once described as Moors?
Okay. I have to do the master teacher Abdullah.
Yeah. Do the fullness. Do the fullness.
Right. The question is colored.
Please explain. Please explain, because when we tell people your question or your comment or your whatever is colored, they get lost and they start talking. They start talking like they don't know what we're talking about. Okay.
So when Moore is saying, your question was colored, a colored is a law term. It's and I'm abbreviating. It's a simulacrum from that which is real, fake. It's not. Your question was fake. It's not pertaining to anything. It's colored. It's colorful. It's not real. Like now I have to fix your question because your question is, well, because I got the indoctrination. I know what you mean, but it's still fraud. It's fraudulent.
Right.
So, but because it's fraudulent, I would have to fix it before I can entertain it. And then when you said people of color reside in America, you should go look up that word reside in Black's Law Dictionary too, because you're not a resident of anything. Exactly. You don't want to go look up that. I mean, you don't want to be part of a resident or reside anywhere. That's not for just your human beings or whatnot. That's
natural human beings.
You're not a resident. So there's no such thing as a people of color. There's no such thing as a consanguinity of people on earth that call themselves people of color. Like that's their bloodline. We call ourselves people of color. That never happened. That has never happened. That's a brand name from colonizers to Moors, part of the Spanish Inquisition. Same thing. Once they start calling us Moriscos.
No, while you do that, while you're going there, let me just go here. This is Native Americans as mulattoes from Africans and Native Americans book. All in all, some 37% of the free people of color in 1850 were classified as M, while only about 1/12 of the slaves were so categorized. It seems clear that a good many of the free people of color classed as M were in fact Indians or of Indian descent. And you already know, same Delaware code tells you what them classifying them with M means. And it didn't mean mulatto. So these so-called Indians were once free people of color. If they're free people, then they weren't slaves. If they weren't slaves, then that means they were already here. And if they were already here, then that means that they're in Morocco.
Mm-hmm. The 250 castles and counting that the photographer was talking about he found in North America proves it. Over two, and I'm like, yo, he was stuck on 7 the whole interview.
Yeah.
He couldn't get away from the number 7.
Yeah.
The whole interview. Over 250 castles found and counting. There's counting because he ain't come here where I'm at.
Yep.
My so-called Massachusetts didn't make it in the book. And in front of my house is a Moorish castle. I look at it every morning. Every morning it's a Moorish castle right in front of my house. Green Sheik, you seen it?
Yep.
When you was here.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there, right in front of my house.
Right.
Moorish castle. When you go downtown, I show you all the Moorish, everything.
Pittsburgh, all them castles in Pittsburgh that you could see from the...
Come on. Pittsburgh.
All those Pittsburgh castles.
We was on the Mediterranean.
Yep.
We was on the Mediterranean. We was in Mauritania when we went to Pittsburgh.
Yep.
It's Mauritania. It was too much water. It was too much water. And you know, that's all we knew. Seafaring. How you come into Pittsburgh on the water, it was the most beautiful, like, because we was up high, which we probably was on a mound.
Yeah.
You don't even know it. They just built all these
stuff on it.
buildings on top of it. Yeah. But we probably was on a mound, but you can watch all the ships come into so-called Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all that has to be, Moore's been set that up. He been was doing, and you can literally see how the highway was set up. Like, because remember we were talking about it, like, you couldn't just come in here.
Yeah.
There was no way you could just, like they said, the Moorish fortress was impenetrable. You couldn't just come in, land or sea. You couldn't. Moors had it on lock. Only way you can penetrate is from within. And that's how they did it.
Right. Webster's Unabridged Dictionary, published 1936. Oh yeah, and this is from the good brother Mizraim's book, Are You in Denial of Your Ancestry Too? And don't forget, Are You in Denial of Your Ancestry 1 on rvbaypublications.com. Definition of Moor, noun, moros, dark, from impartial reference, a member of any of the Asian or African dark races, usually adopting the Mohammedan religion. In history, a Saracen or an Arab. Ancient and Modern Britons, page 238, volume 1. Now there was probably some difference between a Moor and a Saracen, although in heraldry there does not seem to be much distinction. Originally, Sharkin, an Arabian Yemen word signifying Eastern people and used in contradistinction to Maghreb or Western people, the Moors of Morocco. While therefore all Saracens were Moors, all Moors are not necessarily Saracens. All Saracens are Moors, dark-skinned people, either from Asia or Africa or America or wherever they're from. They're dark-skinned, they're Moors. But not all Moors are Saracens.
Mm. Mm.
This information is intended to exhibit the attributes of what who is a Moor and what who is American and what who is an Asiatic in the principle of the maxim infera. Larchey, Laurendon Dictionnaire des Noms, page 326, 336, 337, 1880, gives the following derivations of Moor. M-A-U-R, of Moorish origin. M-A-U-R, of Moorish origin? I thought that was French.
Wow.
M-A-U-R, of Moorish origin, or with skin brown like that of a Moor. Synonyms: Morel, M-U-R-E-L, Maurice, Morand, Morant, Maury. Oh, Ja Morant, killing him right now, rookie, the Memphis Grizzlies. You don't think? Okay. Maury, Morin, Moritz, Moran, Morand, Morard, Moore, Moreau, Moricard, Lemore, Lemorque, Elmer, Elmer Fudd. Okay. Definition of Moor: any dark-skinned person. Encyclopedia Heraldica gives some derivations of Moor as Morand, Morel, Morican, M-O-R-I-C-A-N, Morican. What if you put an A in front of Morican? What do you get? M-O-R-I-C-A-N with an A in front of it. What do you get?
Moroccan.
Morlo, Mormand, Mauriac. Letters to the editor. Evening Journal, Wilmington, Delaware, February 11th, 1972, page 22. Moors are just Americans. Moro, noun, comes from Spanish moro, Moorish. Reference: Webster's International Dictionary with history reference of the world published 1910. Moro, Meru are synonyms. Keeping in mind the vowels A, E, I, O, U, Y are interchangeable, thus Moor, M-O-O-R, / M-U-U-R are synonyms as well. Emphasizing the word Morican, the letter O is interchangeable with E for American, Morican. Reference: Encyclopedia Heraldica. Morican being a derivative of Moor. Thus, American, Morican, Al-Moroccan are consistent. Moor, Asiatic of North America, not Indian. Mauritanis and Morris are extensions of M-O-R. Another English word from this root is Murrey, M-U-R-R-E-Y, meaning dark red or copper complexion. Murray? Remember that basketball player, Tracy Murray? He was red skin, wasn't he? They would say he's light skin, right? He's red skin. Murray?
Yes.
Was he called Murray because he was light skinned, maybe? Therefore, if Murray is the English word for Moor, it leaves us to reasonably analyze the fact that the word Moor is not an English word, however, Murray is. Mauryan, Old French Maurien, a Moor, swarthy, Webster's International Dictionary. Morena is an Italian and Spanish feminine given name derived from the term moreno, meaning brown, brown-haired. Moreno, a name in Spanish and Portuguese meaning dark. Remember, nobody said black yet, huh? Godin Saad Deutsch Namenkin gives derivatives of more as MOHR, MORIAN, MORILLO, MORELIUS. Nature Knows No Color Line, J.A. Rogers, page 92, refers to Moors as Morawets, Moriz, Mor, Morian, Moritz. On page 81, it affirms the word Maurices, Fitzmaurices, and Mount Maurices are all derivations of Moor. Why are Moors, Americans, called Asiatics if America and Morocco are not Asia? A great and common question. Let's start with exposing the etymology of the word Asiatic. And then he goes to Drew Ali, questionnaire, question 38, question 39, and you can get your answer. Question 61, question 63. Just pull up the 101 questionnaire, 38, 39, 61, and 63. Who are the Moors, Asiatics, Americans? Are you in denial of your ancestry? Mizraim Aleph El. And don't forget.
Question for you, Green Sheet.
Yeah, more.
What? Because you just gave his reference. Like, okay, he was going to break it down by using the prophet's words, right? Now, my thing is, when you said that, you know, people got discouraged. You know, the people who are not Moors, unproclaimed Moors, get discouraged. Oh, they got Noble Drew Ali. I'm supposed to go look at Noble Drew Ali. Like, that's all, you know.
Yeah.
Like, they defame the prophet. But my thing is, okay, but who's your sources? You're going to use who? Your God? European guy? That's who you're going to use? Like, at least we using somebody that look like us. You know what I mean? Like, you guys go straight to your God and be like, this is the true reference point.
Mm-hmm.
We use somebody who's on our side, on our team, don't want nothing to happen to us.
Yeah.
You know, want us to get out of this darkness. We use him as a reference. You guys go to, as historically as we can see, you know, us being branded, all this stuff, that's where y'all go to go get y'all references from.
SPLC
that's
and all that.
Yeah, right. That's like that's crazy. That's crazy. And I was just wondering, like, why would they? What's wrong with the people's mindset that they would rather follow somebody who suppressed them than follow somebody who's trying to help them? Like, that's bugging me out. That always, I'm like, what? Well, the prophet, you use him, he's on your side. The people who you trying to use, you got background checks, make sure they're not in no Freemasonry, Illuminati type thing. You got to do all this stuff. Like, are you a de jure PhD or are you a Skull and Bones member PhD? Like, how are we supposed to look at you? You know, like, how are we supposed to use your information? Because we know what side you on.
Yep.
And then that's who they use as their reference. You know, General Education Board philosophy. This guy uses their book. The school book. That's General Education Board philosophy. Rothschild Cart to not make men of thinking. That's the book he used. Why not use Noble Drew Ali?
No, they can't use him.
He's here to uplift all of humanity.
They definitely can't use him.
But we can't use him as a reference. I wouldn't use anybody else. That's the main reference.
Right. Black and Slave, The Origins and History of the Curse of Ham. David Goldberg. Page 9. Moor originally referred to someone from the Roman province of Mauritania in northwest Africa. In the Middle Ages, the term came to indicate the North African or Berber Muslims who had conquered Spain, and later, any Muslim. In addition, by extension of skin color and geographic contiguity, Moor was applied also to non-Muslims in the Western Sahara and the sub-Saharan Africans as well. The significance of the word Moris, with its derivations Moro and More, and of other terms used by medieval writers in Latin to describe the inhabitants of Muslim Spain. History of Moors in Spain, Stanley Lane Poole. Slavery and exile awaited the survivors of the rebellion. There were not very many. The late wars, it was said, had carried off more than 20,000 Moors, and perhaps 50,000 remained in the districts on that famous day of All Saints, 1570, when the honor of the apostles and martyrs of Christendom was celebrated by the virtual martyrdom of the poor remnant of the Moors. Those taken in open revolt were enslaved. The rest were marched away into banishment under escort of troops, while the passes of the hills were securely guarded. Many hapless exiles died, by the way, from want, fatigue, and exposure. Others reached Africa, where they might beg a daily pittance, but could not find soil to till, or France, where they received a cool welcome, though they had found them useful instruments for his intrigues in Spain. The deportation was not finished till 1619. So the first deportations were Moors in Spain. And who is it that they deport mostly today? Who they deporting? Negroes, blacks, and coloreds, or unconscious Moors. And again, it's the same pattern. The game hasn't changed.
At all. Green card is inquisitional practices. That's, oh, you're not Christian, you got to get green card. That's the Morisco tag, because now you're a Moor, but you're straddling the fence. So we give you a green card. You're a Morisco. And I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, isn't it surprising that it's called a green card? Green is Islam.
Uh-huh.
Green is Venus. And only people who's getting the green cards is the so-called people who want to call themselves Caribbeans and all this other stuff.
All the fictions.
Moors.
Yep, all the fictions.
Still continuing inquisitional practices. Like you said, the game it's not changed. It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. Same thing, but they think it's racism. They think it's, we're not United States citizens. They think it's that. They think it's that game.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not the game.
Oh yeah, and they keep playing this thing about Islam and some pale Arabs or whatever. You want to put this reference out there. Africa, mother of Western civilization. Remember where the West is. Remember, the West is not Africa. The West is over here.
Right.
Mother of Western civilization. Not Eastern civilization, Western civilization. The African origins of world civilization being referred to in this work predates the Hebrews' Adam and Eve and their Garden of Eden spoken of in the first book of Moses. It shows the distinction between myth and historical fact and heavily documents Western, European, and European American civilization's earliest philosophical experiences from the beginning of its origins in Alkebulan. In so doing, the entire basis of quote-unquote Western philosophical thought, called erroneously Greek philosophy, has been demonstrated to be in fact African and Asian heritage adopted by the Europeans. The same being true for so-called Judeo-Christian religion and Islamic culture and religion out of the philosophical teachings of the indigenous Africans of the African Great Lakes region and the Nile Valley Mysteries system. Where's the Great Lakes at?
Michigan and Detroit.
Okay. The African Great Lakes and Nile Valley civilization. That's two separate places.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Dr. Ben had a doctorate in Moorish history.
Yeah.
No wonder he knows what's up. No wonder he knows what's up. So again, for these people who are coming into this information and then they bump into some dirty Moor telling them that, oh, Mohammedans, and they start talking all that make you hate Islam stuff, but they're not going to tell you that Islam comes from your ancient foremothers and forefathers. They're going to tell you some pale Arabs or whatever made Islam.
Yep.
Don't even fall for it. Don't even fall for it. All they're doing is trying to play you out of your stuff.
Yep. And if you find some true scholars of Islam from the East, they'll tell you that Islam predates Prophet Muhammad. True scholars of Islam from the East who are Islamic, I tell you that. They'll tell you that Islam predates Prophet Muhammad. That's not Prophet Muhammad. That's ancient. Sufism, and then you can just type in Olmec Sufis. The Olmecs were practicing Sufism, which is yoga, meditation, and all that's all Sufism, back to Islam. You think facing the East, praying 5 times a day,
that's the furthest thing from Islam. All that salat and kiss black stones and run around cubes and all that stuff. All that stuff is so far away from Islam, true Islam. We know that there's issues.
And to add on, William Cooper, Bill Cooper, he exposed all of that. He tell you what book to get and how, because we have more. We know that pale Arab stuff. Catholic Church made that up. The Vatican. That's not true Islam. They made that up. William Cooper exposed it. Gives you the name of the book for you to go get it. You might as well just go watch every William Cooper video and find it, because I don't even remember which one, but I know he was the one that told me. I looked up the book, and in it starts breaking down how the Vatican, the Catholic Church, made up this modern day Islam that we practice, that they practice. That's not ancient Islam at all. At all.
And think about it like this, because people in the chat are talking about Bill Cooper was a double agent. They don't kill double agents. They don't assassinate people who work on their side. Ask Al Sharpton. Ask Farrakhan. Ask all them U.S. presidents who weren't trying to bring back the gold standard. They don't kill their double agents. They let their double agents live. Ask Tekashi 6ix9ine. They don't kill double agents.
He come around next month. I found out. I said that he's coming home already.
You can't diss Bill Cooper. I don't care if he's European. He put in more work than any you Indians. None of you Indians have a book. He at least has a book.
Yeah.
And at one point, you couldn't even get his book. Matter of fact, if you even had his book, they'll take you out just for having his book.
Mm-hmm.
In the 90s, when we came into consciousness, we had one of those books that we were passing around the whole crew, because you couldn't get Behold a Pale Horse.
Yep.
And that was before going on the internet and getting PDFs and all that stuff.
Trying to make, because they had to. They were about to make him look like he was a martyr. Exactly what he said. So they had to let his stuff out.
Right.
They had to let his stuff out. And then my thing is too, they killed this man for putting the truth out.
Mm-hmm.
They letting you so-called Indians just walk around, just saying dumb stuff. I know Moors can't be doing all of that. Moors get kidnapped quick. Going out there trying to talk that truth talk and end up kidnapping.
Right.
Kidnap them.
And then when they get kidnapped and they're in there,
they can't let that out.
It's impossible. Can't let it out.
Can't let it out. Oh, and another thing, Because I remember you. I know I'm changing the subject.
Oh, it's all good, man.
We're right it frustrated me when when you telling me how Moors mad gonna blame RV Bay Publications because Moors be getting kidnapped. I said, now that's the most colored thing in the world right there.
Yeah.
Because I had to sit back and think of that because it just reminded me, like, you know, that scene in Roots. You know, Kunta Kinte over there telling them, you know, I'm Kunta Kinte, and they want you to say some Billy Joe or whatever. And there's these Moors over here, like, yeah, they see you putting in the work. Like, you standing on your square, he's saying who he is, I'm a Moor. And there's these Moors over here, like, yo, well, you getting beat too much. Why don't you just say you Billy Joe?
Yep.
Like, that's the RV Bay Publication complainers. Like, RV Bay gets you complaining. Brother, it's Kunta Kinte. I'm not going to be Billy Joe. I don't care what they say. Like, it's the truth.
Yep.
Either you're going to, so now they're capitulating and becoming Billy Joes with feathers on.
Exactly.
No, just take your feathers off and become Billy Joe. You're not Kunta Kinte straddling the fence. Get out of here.
Exactly.
You're Billy Joe. Take your feathers off.
Take your stuff off. Get out of here. Get out. Get out.
Yeah, it frustrates me. Like this, they're colonists. We're under inquisitional practices.
Yeah.
They better kidnap Moors, like, or the game would be over. It'd be just too easy. It'd just be too easy. And then if Moors just got everything back today, and these Europeans go back home, what we gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
What we gonna do? These dirty Moors, unconscious Moors, they need these Europeans. These Europeans go back to Europe. Ain't no more food stamps, EBT. Ain't none of that. All that's gone. What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Now,
they need them Europeans.
Now, somebody in the chat, one of these people, what good did Behold a Pale Horse do for our people? It did no good because niggers don't read. Why would it do good for people if niggers don't read, especially from European? You already know, European pop up, niggers aren't going to go read that book. So stop the BS. But we'll put it out there. Behold a Pale Horse. We'll put it out there so we could show you one good thing that came out of this book for our people who want to play games like they know what's up and they're conscious or whatever. Page 104. Congressional Record, Senate. Mr. Owen, I wish to put into the record the secret Treaty of Verona of November 22nd, 1822, showing what this ancient conflict is between the rule of the few and the rule of the many. I wish to call the attention of the Senate to this treaty because it is the threat of this treaty which was the basis of the Monroe Doctrine. It throws a powerful white light upon the conflict between monarchical government and government by the people. The Holy Alliance, under the influence of Metternich, the Premier of Austria, in 1822, issued this remarkable secret document. The undersigned, specially authorized to make some additions to the Treaty of the Holy Alliance after having exchanged their respective credentials, have agreed as follows. Article 1. The high contracting powers, being convinced that the system of representative government is equally and incompatible with the monarchical principles as the maxim of the sovereignty of the people, with the divine right, engage mutually in the most solemn manner to use all their efforts to put an end to the system of representative governments in whatever country it may exist in Europe, and to prevent its being introduced in those countries where it not yet known. Article 2. As it cannot be doubted that the liberty of the press is the most powerful means used by the pretended supporters of the rights of nations to the detriment of those princes, the high contracting parties promise reciprocally to adopt all proper measures to suppress it, not only in their own states, but also the rest of Europe. Article 3, convinced that the principles of religion contribute most powerfully to keep nations in a state of passive obedience, which they owe to their princes. The high contracting parties declare it to be their intention to sustain in their respective states those measures which the clergy may adopt with the aim of ameliorating their own interests, so intimately connected with the preservation of the authority of the princes, and the contracting powers join in offering their ranks to the Pope for what he has already done for them, and solicit his constant cooperation in their views of submitting the nations. And we'll just stop there. You don't even need any more than that to know what good,
I got a couple things for you,
good this book has done. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, because what you just did, his question and what you just read is astounding. Because the question was, what has Behold the Pale Horse done for our people? And what you just read was Treaty of Verona, how it's correlative to the Monroe Doctrine. The problem is his question. What did it do for our people? Who's your people?
Right.
If you think you black, Treaty of Verona don't apply to black people. Monroe Doctrine, that don't apply to black people. You looking for slave documents, slave ships. Your mind is wrong.
Indian documents.
You still Indian documents. You're not what you think your history started in the teepee? That's where it's gonna end. That's where it's gonna end. Because now you're missing the rest of the world. And I'm pretty. What page was that you read it on, Grand Sheet? That's another thing. What page was that?
103.
Okay. 103. If he has the Behold the Pale Horse, did you read to page 103?
Yeah. Did you even get there?
Did you get there? Did you get there? Like, see that? Did you read the book? Do you have the book? And if you did you get to page 103? How could you ask that question? What has this done for our people? Your question is colored. Because those things don't apply to you. You're looking for Indian treaties or whatever. Teepees documents and stuff. You're not Monroe Doctrine, Treaty of Verona. You don't know nothing about any of that. Any of that. You're not even thinking that. You're not thinking how Europeans came under the subject of the British Empire and how all of this Europe and the Moroccan Empire treaties apply to today. You're not thinking that. Monroe Doctrine, how it messed up Moors and all of that. You're not, because you're looking for Indian stuff. You took the distraction. They threw something over there and you looked.
And then you looked. And now you're getting your head beaten and now you're complaining about stuff that you were the one that looked. Why do you look?
Yeah. Why'd you look?
Why do you look?
You should have been seeing where it came from, not what landed. Well, what was that? Nah. Who threw that?
Yeah.
That's what you should be looking at.
Yeah. Looking for
Who
stuff.
threw it?
Nosy. Mind your business. Mind your damn business. You throw something? What are you looking for? What are you looking over there?
Distracted. Now you're over there asking stupid questions. Because you're distracted. You looked wrong. You're not focused. Has no idea that he doesn't know what Treaty of Verona is, Monroe Doctrine is. That's why he can't literally see how the book applies to his people, because he doesn't know what that is.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know what that is. That's why when you read it, I'm like, man, so-called Indians, Black Power people have no idea what you're talking about right now. They don't study.
Yeah,
they don't read.
They don't study to know anything. Yeah.
You hear Monroe Doctrine, they over there, what city is that? They don't read. What city is Monroe Doctrine? Like, y'all don't read, man. Get out of here. Asking crazy, that's a colored question. What has William Cooper's book done for our people? Wow.
Yep. Wow. But they're quick to quote SPLC though and say that exposed the Moors are sovereign citizens. They're going to reference that though, but they're not going to reference some William Cooper. But you're going to reference some SPLC. All right.
Yep, and that too, that alone too. That means because Moors are saying we are the power. You know, when they be like, because that's their claim. Oh, when they call Moors sovereign citizens, they're saying that Moors don't believe in the government. You know, they're above the government and all of that. So when Indians side with SPLFC or whatever, they're agreeing that these colonists are the government, and that Moors are saying that they're not the government. Y'all agree with that? Y'all agree with the United States as the government because you're using SPLFC as a reference, and they're saying that the United States is a government, and that Moors don't agree with that, like, because they're not the government. So you agree that the colonists who stole y'all land, yeah, that's the government now. When y'all use SPLC as a reference, you agree to stand by everything they stand for. You can't straddle the fence because, oh, we can use this paper here because they diss Moors. No, their whole thing is fraudulent. But you want to use it because it diss Moors. And then come on, World Wide Web, you get and cause confusion. Cause confusion. To the point, my son hears it because, you know, it's on speaker. Class is on speaker. You know, when Grand Sheik is playing it. My son, Daddy, that's a dirty Moor talking? Yes, son. My 11-year-old. My 11-year-old. Because he can hear y'all talking. And he knows you guys are all Moors, but you're a dirty Moor to the 11-year-old. He knows that. Like, what's that? Indian? Isn't that Lucien deal that? You showed me that. Yeah. You showed me that. Because I'll tell my son all the time, don't even believe your dad. Go look it up. Don't even believe me. Because I was dumb nigger at one time. Don't believe me. You better go look it up yourself.
You better go check. And again, these for our people, and what are the Moors gonna do for our people? Now, let's put it like this for you. Let's find this quote. Just so you could see why the importance of building something. How about the importance of getting this information to the people?